Good morning, brothers and sisters. It's Brother Paul here on a Sabbath morning. I'd like to share a dream I received this morning. I received it, by the way, it's the 30th of March, and it's 2019. And I awoke 3 minutes before 8 o'clock this morning. It's a little bright out here, so I might be squinting. I woke up at 7:57, and this was actually interesting. I looked it up in the Strong's Greek Bible, and it means to rule, to begin, to lead, to be chief. Originally, I was just going to share this video and just let the interpreters do, which I still want you guys to do. But I wanted to know before I even did this what it was all about. So I went and interpreted it the way I do. I look for the words and the scriptures attached to it. And it was quite interesting. So I will share what I found. And I will let the interpreters look at it the way they do afterwards. But here we go. This was interesting. So the dream was, I was in a school and there was a gathering of engineers and everybody was talking and they were kind of deciding what they were going to do. And suddenly, I believe it was a school setting, like a school setting. So there was an emergency at the door and everybody ran to that area. And I believe I was watching this, like I was an observer in this dream. And I saw a bunch of people run to the entrance of this school and everybody was disrespecting each other. Everybody was talking about each other and it was kind of not a nice setting. And I saw one man go off to I don't know what else to call it, but kind of like a laundry room. And there was these big metal tubs and they look rusted. And there was towels boiling in there. And all the towels, they looked very dirty. And this guy had, actually I forgot to write this word, but he had these big gloves to his elbow. And he was reaching in this and he was pulling out these towels and like separating them. And it almost had like an old... The feeling of that room was like the bottom of an old boat, like an engineering room of an old boat. And all the metal was rusted, so I don't know what that meant. I forgot to add that word too, rusted. But anyway, so the scene changed after that, right after the boiling water in that room. And suddenly we were in a house for just a very short period. And then I saw myself. And I was in the back room of this house and I was getting ready to go somewhere. And I saw myself leaving this house by the back door. At least I think it was me. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was me. So anyway, I saw a man go out this door and then all of a sudden we're kind of like, I think it was a hospital now or the school, I'm not sure. But I saw very, very long hallways with a dotted blue line going all the way down. And I saw people going down this hallway and they were meeting in a very large room which looked like a gym. And we passed, or as I was going or watching going down this hallway, I went by an area where a bunch of people were talking about each other behind their backs. And it seemed to be the back office of this complex. So it kind of looked like a school and not really sure what it was, but there was a back office. And they were all talking about each other. And then I continued going into this, what looked like a gym, and got onto these bleachers. And I saw a woman and she sat beside me. And I remember she was very nervous and almost scared, and the dream ended. So as I'm reading you this, I just realized I've missed some words. So I'll go as quick as I can to just get through what I found. So the first one was I looked up school. And school is symbolism of a time of learning in your life. School is also a common dream setting for a past or present important events in a person's life. I found Acts 19:9, when one divers were hardened and believed not, but spoke evil of that way before the multitudes of the departed from them, and separated the disciples, disputing daily in the school of one Tyrannus. I believe that's the city of Ephesus, somewhere in Greek, or where Paul was studying for a couple of years, something like that. Second word was engineering, and I put a definition first. Definition: a person who designs, builds, or maintains engines, machines, or public works. But an engineer is always in charge of a master plan, which is also symbolic of to communicate details and characteristics of drawings. And this made me think of God, like the grand designer, of engineers, everything. So I found in Matthew 1:23, behold, a virgin shall be with a child, and shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which being interpreted is God with us. I thought that was awesome. That's a master plan, bringing Jesus. So number 3, I was looking for emergency at an entrance, but I found dealing with life crises. And there was a couple of them. John 14:1 was, let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in God. Believe also in me. The second one was Ecclesiastes 3:1. For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. Number 4 was disrespected. Ephesians 5:11. And I have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. Number 5, I was looking for removing dirty towels, which ended up being washing. Leviticus 15:11. And whomsoever he toucheth that hath issue, and hath not rinsed his hand in water, he shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening, to the end of the day. There was a second one, 1 John 1:9. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. Number 6, I was looking for boiling waters. I only found waters, which was in Isaiah 12:3. Therefore with joy shall you draw water out of the wells of salvation. Love that one. Number 7, I was looking for house, which was symbolic of a life or a place of work. And I found a John 14:2. In my Father's house are many mansions, and if it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. Number 8 was long hallways. Excuse me. Long hallways, which was hall. I found hall. And symbolic of a path in life or choices, a long hallway can symbolize a long monotonous journey. And this was interesting because yesterday I ran into a bunch of people who claimed to believe in God, but they had done no works in their faith at all. Like just with their mouth they're saying they believe in God. So I found it Ecclesiastes 3:16-17. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. I said in mine heart, shall I judge the righteous and the wicked? For there is a time there for every purpose and for every work. Number 9 was the blue lines I saw on the ground, which was attached to an Exodus 24:10. And they saw the God of Israel, and there was under his feet as if it were paved work of a sapphire stone, and as it were the body of heaven in his clearness. I thought this was amazing. I'm not a jewelry person, so I looked up what sapphire was, and I had no idea what color a sapphire was, but it's a cornflower blue, and it's a color known as cashmere in some circles. So that was kind of cool. I thought because the sky's blue, and I love that. So number 10 was a meeting for cleaners, which Hebrews 12:29, for our God is a consuming fire. I thought that was awesome too. I found a second verse, Psalms 51:10, create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit in me. Amen. Number 11 was back office. Now this I found interesting because when I had the dream, when I was deciphering, I wasn't really thinking much about what I was writing. But a back office is symbolic of a portion of a company made up, I'll explain it in world terms and then we'll tie it in, is a portion of a company made up by administration and support personnel who are not client facing. could mean the function, maintenance, regulatory compliance, accounting, IT departments, etc. So I kept seeing like almost like janitors and engineers over and over again in this dream. When you think about what they do in a school, they're kind of in the background, which is kind of cool. So I found in Nehemiah 8:10, do not grieve, for the joy of the Lord is your strength. And I looked for number 12 was people who talk behind your backs. Was a Proverbs 13:3, he who keepeth his mouth keepeth his life. He who that openeth wide his lips shall have destruction. Number 13 was the woman I saw at the end of the dream. Proverbs 14:1, every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh it down by hands. So you can destroy your own works. And number 14 was scared. Isaiah 41:10, fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee, yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. And that one was specifically asking for help. Now, the interesting thing about this doesn't happen very often. I wasn't originally gonna add my own interpretation, but I was led to, maybe for my own understanding. But the ending of this dream seems to be for somebody specific. So I invite anybody who has the gift of interpretation, please assist me on this one. This is clearly for the body of Christ. I don't know if it's a warning. I think it's... Actually, I don't know. Please, interpreters, help me on this one. I hope I didn't cause confusion by giving this interpretation. I love you guys. Happy Sabbath. Have a wonderful day. And I look forward to whatever comments you guys add. Take care, guys. Bye.